selected. I work for BricsCAD now for a year and a half, approximately, and I work on the R&D development team. In general, I can say for myself that I just like to make stuff. I like to do 3D modeling, I like to do woodworking, I like to do software development.
I'm Sam Gelder. I also work as a software developer in the R&D team. I work for BricsCAD around a year and a half as well now. In my free time, I like to coach kids to also learn to code.
So no regrets about going to BricsCAD?
Not at all.
Not at all.
Okay.
Well, I like the fact that everybody here is like devoted to either the product or the company, and mostly both.
Everyone is really motivated to try and get the best product done.
Sam and I developed a Propagate tool for a BricsCAD bin, a tool that allows you to model it once and then propagate to the rest of the model. So it's designed to take away a lot of the repetitive stuff.
Well, we first started with a kind of a different approach. In V18 it was called BIM Suggest. Then we only looked at the specific case of connecting slabs with walls, made it kind of a generalization for the V19 propagate command that could just copy a detail to somewhere else.
Yeah, so it's become really broad. We can copy connections between walls and slabs, but also between beams and structural elements. We can copy windows in walls, we can copy light fixtures, flow terminals, everything that you want to distribute in your model can be propagated. Actually, it's an indispensable tool, I think, if you want to go to a high level of detail. Okay, let's show some quick examples of Propagate. Okay, here we have a steel structure, a model of a hangar, where I want to make some detailed connections. I have a number of these connections worked out already, for instance here and here. And then I will now use Propagate to copy those connections. So for instance, I will select this member and this column, and I launch Propagate Linear. I select my details of the connection, and when I hit enter, I get this detail volume that indicates what the detail is that will be copied. I can then start Propagate, and it will find the other locations where this detail can be placed. So, and if I accept, I have now fully attached this bracing to the columns. Again, in the second step, I can even copy the whole bracing structure like this. And then it automatically finds the other locations where this bracing can be put. If I do not want the bracing in a certain location, I can simply deactivate the suggestions, or I can choose between different options. For instance, I want to place it on top. I can do that. So just this easily I have copied the whole bracing structure. Let's give one other example here on this model. I can select this complex connection here, select the detail objects, and propagate it just like that. You can see it has now placed, it places the detail correctly on the other locations, cutting away parts of the solids it does not need. Can also use Propagate for wall slab connections. For instance, here I have a model where the connection between the floor plate and the wall has not been detailed yet. I have one location in the model where I have very locally worked out the connection, as you can see here. And I will now select the wall and the slab and launch Propagate Planner. I select these two detail objects. I get my detail, but it's now a two-dimensional detail because it has to be extruded along the wall slab connections, and those extrusions are different in different places of the model. You can see here that Propagate finds all the locations where I can apply this detail, and when I accept, and if I go back to the location in the garage I showed earlier, you can now see that this detail has been applied here. Propagate can also be used to copy details attached to a single wall. For instance, select this wall and use Propagate Patterns, and I select this window. I can very quickly copy this window to other walls, similar walls in the model. For instance, if I want only walls in the garage, I deselect those suggestions, and then I can manipulate the pattern on this wall very easily. And just like that.